Hello, Reese from the Point Music Podcast thingy. You get 2 podcasts in 1 week, you lucky ducks. This one's a very special one, and it's been in the works for some time now. And I wanted to do something different because I like interviewing people that aren't just artists, they're in the other side. So the different parts of the industry. And I was very, very lucky and stoked to have the extremely talented and very clever Tiana Speter from the Soundcheck, which is basically, this is going to be music journo meets music journo, and I really enjoyed this one. And we basically had plenty of chats after this, which I didn't record because secrets. I hope you really enjoy this one. I hope you learn a few things and see a little bit of insight into what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, Tiana Speter from the Soundcheck. I think we're going. And hello, Tiana Speter from the Soundcheck.
Oh yes.
This is going to be interesting because this is music journo versus music journo, and I've never done this before. And I know you do podcasts and interviews, and have you done this before?
No, I've been interviewed once via written word, and I probably bored the poor journo to death. So this is new territory for both of us.
Yeah,
so
well,
I'm excited and a little bit terrified.
Well, I don't know who's going to do the interviewing of who.
I
know. We're going to switch how the
you go first.
tables.
No, you go first.
I want to know why you do what we do.
That's damn it. That is a great first question. Well, I guess for me, it was always music and writing, and always very separate, always very, one or the other. My undergraduate degree was music and writing, and for 10 years after I graduated, I didn't use that degree.
Why?
And then finally, I think the problem was I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't feel quite ready to put myself out there and be quite public with what I really enjoyed. I did a little bit of reviews at uni and all that kind of thing, and I was living at gigs. All I did was go to gigs, but I just felt I was always very intimidated. I was a little bit shy, and even though I could come across as quite extroverted, but it just wasn't the right time for me. And literally, what is it now? Nearly 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? I just have to do it.
Yeah.
It's been this long, and it's still something I want to try, and here we are with no end game in sight.
No, it just keeps rolling on, and you go, you know what? I'm going to stop now. I'm going to quit, and then next thing you know, oh shit, you know what? It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. What about you? How did you roll into the old music media game?
Because I've been in the industry for 26, 27 years, and I got frustrated.
Slightly more than me?
Well, I'm slightly older than you, mate, so yeah. It was because I got a degree in PR. And I did journalism as well at uni, but that was, I don't know, I was using that as a backdoor thing into the music industry, because trying to be a musician full-time in Australia is almost nearly impossible. And I don't know, I thought I could get into the industry the other way, and I am, but I don't make any money out of it, but I don't really care about that part. I think it was frustration out of lack of focus on this area. So because you're originally from Brisbane and stuff, aren't you? Or
from the Gold Coast.
Oh,
yes, let's
dude, no, it's all right, it's fine.
It's public. No, yeah. So Gold Coast and then Brizzy for uni.
Yeah, but you're in Sydney now, aren't you?
Yeah, so let's not talk about that.
So you would have had a similar kind of feeling with the Gold Coast music industry as well, and it's going great guns now because they've got a lot of support. I mean, obviously, Q Music is right behind them, but they had I'm not going to be doing sour grapes or anything like that, but they actually had a lot of luck come into it with, say, Amy Shark taking off, and then there was a few other acts taking off from that area, and then all of a sudden the focus was on them, and then they got all the money. Whereas Sunshine Coast, it's coming back our way. I mean, we stole Night Quarter from Gold Coast, so I mean that's
yeah, you did.
Sneaky bastards. It's actually really good too. They've done a great job.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's genuinely awesome.
So when you eventually make it over the border, you'll be able to see it.
Oh, I know, bloody. Hopefully it's not. I was actually supposed to fly up tomorrow, but no.
No, because didn't like 20,000 people in Sydney have to go get tested today or something?
Probably I think, yeah, I'm technically like, I'm on the Northern Beaches, which is like the Gold Coast of Sydney. So we're not quite like part of the city, but we're enough so that we're not allowed to go anywhere fun. So.
All right. So you're in a bubble, but not the bad bubble.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We'll go with that. But yeah, I do it because there was a lack of focus on the area. And kept shit grassroots basically, and I've been pretty. You're pretty lax with who you let through into the soundcheck. You basically take on anything as long as it's something that's interesting, from what I can gather.
Yeah, like I feel that was the other thing. Like at the start, I kind of was like, do I make it solely about local stuff? But I felt like there was a few already established that were really dominating that local scene. I was like, well, okay, how about I make it, if it's got some tenuous link to Australia, which, you know, when touring's happening, that's so much easier. If you've got an international artist who's coming to Australia, there's a little bit of that relevancy to it. But I give equal weight and time to a band who's got their first ever song out that I do to like someone who's been in the industry for like, what, 50, 60 years. So I feel like at the start it was take everything that came my way, because I was just so surprised that stuff kept coming through. And now, as you would be familiar with, your inbox is probably overflowing and you can't possibly get to every single thing that you probably should. I don't like to use the word should, but I try to keep it even if I can. So it's not just the people who don't need further media and further publicity if I can. One
of the biggest things I had to learn, particularly in the last few years, is the word no. But
my God,
politely, just you know what, cool. You know what, this is nothing. I can't do this one. Sorry, but yeah, thanks for saying it. Yeah, and deep down, just
and people do. Yeah, well, and the people who are fine with it. I've had a few times where I've said no, and they were like, "Oh, I've been holding everything out on this," and you're like, "Well, no, like this is something like you said, we're not making millions of dollars, and I don't want it to become a like bankrupt your band to get coverage and get media attention." And that was when I was like, that's it. Okay, so now I don't feel bad, like, and the right people get it.
Yeah.
And that's how you cultivate your community around you, I guess, as well.
Well, that's how you develop good relationships with good musicians or PR agents that are coming through that actually understand what you're doing. I mean, I've actually got a pretty funny relationship with Jack Pierce at the moment from the Pierce Brothers, because he's working with do you get his press releases from On The Map?
I think so. I should say yes. Yeah.
Sorry, Jack.
Talk.
Oh no, busted.
I've just ruined that relationship.
Yes. We love you, Jack.
Go on.
No, I was just saying it's because I knew Jack because a band I played in supported the Pierce Brothers, and that's how we were talking. And then he started working during COVID, like on the Map. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we start getting this. He understands what I'm doing now. Like he still like throws a line out there, sees if you're gonna bite, and I was going, dude, I can't do this one. You know this isn't what I do. This is not my area. But you know what? I might do a podcast with him. Just give me a little bit of time. But yeah, I don't know if you get. I don't know if you get that. If you get sort of, you get the bit of the guilt, and you kind of want to do it. But yeah, it's like, I don't want to, but I want to.
Yeah. I guess it's somehow finding that balance. Like I have my core people who have really supported me from really early on. And it's not that anyone owes anyone anything as such, but I do try to do right by the people who have kind of helped me progress.
Exactly.
I guess, for lack of a better word. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, I've done a fair bit for this person. They know that I've got, if I can't do it this time, I can probably make it up to them. But when it's right for all of us, and I'm not, because I don't see myself as being a critic as such too. Yeah. So if something comes my way that I genuinely, it's not, and it's more if it's like musically not that great too. Like I don't want to be ripping someone's art apart publicly. Like that's not for me. Like I can comment if there's like a little something that could be improved, but I'm not here to rip anyone down. And so if something comes through like that too, I'm like, well, not this time, but please keep me in mind for something later on. and like it's a polite no.
How do you feel about
with a rain
reviews?
check.
How do you feel about reviews though? Because I get asked to review stuff all the time, and I used to do them like talking about 5 years ago, and occasionally I may do one if I know the artist and they're asking for something, for like a basically a quote so they can use it in an EPK or something.
Yeah.
But I tend to avoid reviews because, being a musician myself in multiple bands, I don't like it when someone's, like he's just saying, like ripping it apart. It doesn't feel right. Oh, and
I guess that's maybe where that you got. Sorry, you got me.
yeah, yep, that you froze in the mid headbang.
Oh, great. That's a great look for me. Yeah, I think with that kind of stuff, maybe it's like coming from your perspective, like you're a, functioning musician as well. So there's something to be said for, like if you say something here, is that going to be reflected like potentially, because you're you don't want to write music for a review.
No.
And I don't know, I guess I have the fortune, like I am a weekend warrior, like I do singing and stuff, but it's not for performance stuff. It's just for my own thing. So I feel like some of the stakes maybe are a little bit lower for me in that scenario because I don't have to worry about it coming back. Like no one can come and critique my singing because they're never going to hear it.
Oh, really?
But I say that maybe my singing teacher might
bring it on, man.
Humiliate. No. But I feel like I do try to keep some reviews up, but it's mostly sometimes just to challenge myself too, like because it's not that I think I've heard everything ever, but I do sometimes get a little bit jaded, I guess, like because you're just consuming music all the time,
samey.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to this before I say yes or no, because sometimes I say yes to challenge myself too, but sometimes I've just been totally blown away by something that would have just snuck straight past my radar, and I'm like, I'm actually really inspired to like, because I'm a weirdo. I have synesthesia, and I'm very visual with how I listen. So that's why I use so many adjectives in my writing, because it's very like physical and visual for me. So if I get a reaction to something, I'm really inspired, and it's a piece of cake to write a review about it because it's genuine. Whereas if I'm sitting there feeling like I'm forced, I don't like that, inauthenticity. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I don't like being inauthentic. So I don't think that answers your question really, but I try to do it just to challenge myself and just to keep that skill pumping, I guess.
So going back to your synesthesia, do you see different colors depending on different genres?
Not so much genres. I guess it's more it's kind of more with the like chords, like the major minor stuff, and it's very, very peculiar. Like I don't physically feel it, but I get like a swirling, like an oscillating sensation or something. It's probably I probably need to have like an MRI or something.
I think you're just more in tune with stuff, mate. I wouldn't go to that extreme. Jeez.
But yeah, it's not so, and it's not specific. Like sometimes when I was younger, it would be like we'd play a note and see if it would be the same color reaction or something each time, and it's not that sharpened, I think. But yeah, it's like colors and that bit of feeling sensation. So I feel like it's cheating sometimes because I just have to kind of write what's happening.
Well, not really,
around me.
I always wait for the goosebump moment, and if it doesn't happen, I just go, it was a cool song, but yeah. But there have been certain songs that have come through, and I just go, oh, I wasn't expecting that, and I've got goosebumps. I'm like, yeah, okay, and it wouldn't be something I would normally listen to.
Yeah.
Like say like with a band that we're both familiar with, like DLC, like Dead or Dead. We know what to expect from those boys, and when they do chuck something in that's left of center, then we just, oh, that fuck, it wasn't expecting that. But when you're listening to something like some really alt indie folky kind of thing, and all of a sudden they just flipped the song and made it into electronic halfway through, and you just go, what the hell, where'd that come from? That kind of shit sort of resonates with me, and I actually like it when people think outside. I hate using this cliche, but they think outside the box and they actually just go, I'm not going to follow this formula. I'm going to do something different. I love that shit.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that's because occasionally, I don't know if you feel it, but like I ebb and flow with being like, what do I want to keep doing this? Like, why am I torturing myself
every day,
sacrificing seeing humans? Yeah. And then those are the moments where you're like, oh, okay, for now, like yes, this is why I'm doing it. And yeah, that's the exact moment that I'm just like, reset, everything's okay.
So you reached a milestone this year too, didn't you? You got like, was it 900 articles?
I'm actually due for my 1,000th
Yeah.
in the first week of December.
Woo! Killing.
I'm a nerd. Woo!
Yeah. I lost track of all that sort of stuff that I've been doing. I couldn't.
Well,
tell you.
my blog tells me that's the only way I knew, and I actually didn't realize. So, because God, I wouldn't keep count myself, in all honesty. So thank God for my website count.
So I started out in HTML on an actual website I built. So
Dude,
I built
you are
from
old school.
Yeah, so I built mine from scratch all the way, and I didn't switch to blog mode
Wow.
until like 2015, 2016. There was a blog attached to the website, which is where I would do the interviews and reviews and that sort of stuff. And I had a little trip down memory lane. I don't know if you saw the story I put up last night on Insta, where I went through and realized how many interviews I've done.
How many?
I couldn't. But it's really cool.
Ballpark, like hundreds?
Yeah,
thousands?
no, not thousands, but it's up there. It's I think it's like 150 or something like that, because I never used to do interviews.
Damn,
I used to do reviews
Yeah.
or just the news, right? But I think it was more looking at I've got the list right in front of me from last night.
Yes.
The bands that I actually had the chance to interview, and it doesn't really sink in. I don't know if it is the same for you, but it's different now with the podcast because it's a face-to-face thing, and I actually prefer this medium compared to sitting down and writing interview questions out, which I'll tell you what, we'll get to that one in a sec. But the whole written thing, and I was looking at, like, I interviewed like Pierce Brothers, King Parrot, Dead Letter, well, that was easy, Catch a Fire, Gurge, Thirsty Merc, Blue Juice, Wolf Mother, Ballpark Music, all that sort of stuff, right? And it didn't sink in until last night. I was like, holy shit, like, these are musicians that I look like, they are peers, they're people I look up to, and I just went, I've been pretty goddamn lucky to actually have that connection with them. I don't know if you get that kind of feeling as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny you say that, because I think I look back and I'm like, it's not to sound really like, up myself, but you're like, there's some amazing people. And I think for me, I try at the time when I'm doing them to not allow myself to actually get genuinely excited, because like you said, if it's not video and you've got like 15 minutes, you've got a phone call, it's like the worst version of speed dating you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
Like, and you've got no physical interaction with the person. So you from start to finish, you've got to charm this person, make it the best interview they've ever done, and get the hell out of there. And I think if I think too much about, oh my God, this is one of my heroes, like, I'd just be terrible. Like, I would be shaking and freaking out. So I think I've always tried to downplay it to myself just to get through the interviews and get through the speed dating. But like, when I do think about it, like you said, like, but you look back and it's exciting, but you're like, how did I do that?
Yeah, how did that happen? How did I make that connection? I'm just going to interrupt you there. Your screen froze in a really unfortunate pose. You were like,
oh no, I'm sorry.
I was trying to keep a straight face, but you were completely, no, it's not your fault. I just found it amusing. You were completely correct with what you're saying though. Do you have one where you just went, it took me so long to write questions for, and I was so nervous about doing it about getting it right?
Yeah, I think, funnily enough, I've always found the interviews seem to be quite easy. I did find earlier this year, like when COVID hit, I was a little bit, I was just not inspired to do them. And I think I did a couple and I just was really down I just wasn't excited. And I interviewed LJ from Seven Dust, and that kind of came up. I literally found out, like, I think the morning, like, I think it was like really, really tight turnaround. And I almost said no, because I was like, I'm just not vibing. Like, I'm not feeling it. But didn't. And because I was struggling to kind of, and I knew I only had a really short space of time. It was only like 15 minutes or something, which, as you know, is quite short if you've got a really good talker. And
we've gone past that already. We're on 18 minutes.
Whew, already. But so I I struggled just because also he is my favorite singer, like
Incredible.
of, and I had interviewed Clint, the guitarist, last year, so I
Oh,
knew,
really?
and yeah, and a bunch of people I knew had went on tour with them, so I knew they were really nice guys. So I said yes, I wrote it. It was a bit of a struggle, and then that was the interview that kind of re-sparked me again, because I just walked away from that like on cloud nine. Like, this person was just so, like, I feel like I did nothing. I just literally got carried through that by him somehow.
Well, he's a genuine kind of guy, though. Like, you're talking about LJ or Clint?
Yeah.
Well,
LJ, yeah. Both are amazing. But
well, Clint's
yeah,
had his
LJ
own.
this
Clint's
year.
had his own fucking real full-on story as well. But LJ is an incredibly humble human being. From the interviews I've seen with him, he's just like, dude, I would fucking just want to hug the guy.
That's what it was. It was the equivalent of being hugged by someone. And I walked out of it and I just felt like everything was going to be okay. And all the stress I had in the lead up of writing the questions was like, I just reset everything for me. And I feel like that was probably, funnily enough, like one of my favorite, but also probably the hardest one to write for a lot of reasons. So, and I was also just intimidated as but everything else at play too.
You're worried that you're going to totally fangirl over him, right?
Oh, and that's like, I think I only told, I can't remember, I think I've only said it once to someone. I'm pretty sure it was Dan from Tesseract. I told him just at the end, I was like, by the way, I've been obsessed with your band. And he was really, really sweet about it. But I try not to. I try to be.
It's so hard, man. It's so hard.
You're like, yes, I love you.
Yeah, but I there's been one time where I've actually lost my shit and totally fanboyed. It was Jeff Martin.
Oh, that's so normal.
Well, I'm a massive Tea Party fan, man. I've been a fan since like the mid '90s when in high school for me, and I've actually just had the opportunity to do it again, but I don't have the time.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm a bit bummed about it, and I'm also kind of relieved because if I was going to do a podcast, I don't know, because the last time I saw him was at Soul Bar, and he was playing a solo show, and there was only 60 people in the audience watching him play it, and that's bullshit, man. God. And so he came down after his set, and he hung out with everyone, and he came up to me. It was my chance, and I just went. I totally lost it. I had a fanboyed on him, and I basically hugged him and said, "You're a massive inspiration." And he's like, "It's cool, man. It's only rock and roll. It's cool." And then I just went, I'm gonna hug you again. I'm sorry. And I just went, fuck.
I love you.
Yeah, pretty much that. And that's the only person I've really sort of gone. But I've been intimidated with a Q&A that wasn't a person-to-person one. That was a written one. It took me 2 weeks to write a Q&A for Tim Rogers.
Yeah.
Dude is intellectual as fuck, and I just went,
yep.
This is my one chance. If I fuck up the questions, man, he's gonna totally just. Well, he didn't. He was absolutely incredible. It's one of my favorite Q&As I've done.
Yeah. I did a phono with him, and I think I would be more intimidated written because of that very reason. Mm-hmm. He's like, I feel like I got off really easy. He couldn't sit there and prepare.
Exactly. That was what I was writing, because he was on his solo tour and he just released that book too. And I was just like,
yes.
Fuck. What am I gonna
do? That's very fair. But I'm sure you nailed it.
Yeah. It's actually one of my favorite ones that I've done.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Life and times of part-time music journalist, because you have another job in your real life too. I'm not going to get into what you do, but...
yes, I also have started dabbling in some artist management because I apparently don't like to sleep.
No, so, why are you torturing yourself with this?
No, I need an adult.
Wow.
Someone to tell me to
stop. My god. Welcome to the dark side, I guess.
Yes. Great to be here.
No, please tell me you're managing someone that doesn't have like 6 people in the band or something like that.
Well, I've got 4 sons now, but it's not like it's not full time. Like we're just kind of getting through some stuff and just kind of keeping organized because I'm like dramatically. I don't want to say OCD, but I'm dramatically organized. So
it's not a good thing to be OCD as an artist manager with a band full of dudes, because it's like trying to run a chaotic kindergarten.
Oh my god! Yes. Yeah, so I'm an idiot. No, I love it. I do love it. Like, and that's the thing is, people don't often, I don't know if you're the same. I mean, there's so much going on outside of all of this too. And a lot of people don't really understand it. A lot of the time,
Nope.
they're like, why would you do it? And why are you not coming out just for random drinks? Because you're interviewing someone at like 6 a.m. the next day and because I have to.
I did
'Cause I
it out
want
of
to.
necessity though, so because it was managing my own
Yeah.
bands, not managing someone else's band. If I was asked to manage someone else's band, I would think probably about 5 times and have to be shown some reason as to exactly why I would be doing it in the first place.
I think to be fair, I've known them for like 15
Well,
years and
that's
we've seen
okay
each
then.
other through the best and worst. Like,
If you're
so
mates with them,
maybe
and
that's
that,
why.
just yeah, wow. No, good luck. Far out.
Thank you. Yes, yes, I'll be dead in 3 years.
It ages you rapidly.
And I'm 12 years old. Look at
So, would you be preparing gigs for him yet? Like booking gigs and that sort of stuff yet?
it's in the progress, so it's kind of like album release. All that stuff was supposed to happen this year, and that's
Yeah.
obviously all happened.
Oh.
There's been a bit of a lineup shift and all of
Yep.
that
Had that
stuff.
too.
So
hmm
yeah, it's all the fun things that, has nothing to do with rock and roll.
No,
So
this is the shit side of the business.
yeah, I'm doing all the not
Yeah.
no, it's
I mean,
some of it.
I don't envy Barefoot's manager Matt. Like he's got a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of times I still have to help him out with shit that he doesn't know. Like more like the websitey kind of stuff. Because I
Yeah.
actually used to manage Barefoot before Matt did.
Yeah, right.
I manage Mules, but that's easy because it's my band and it's easy. I can just say, look, we don't have to fucking play this gig if we don't want to. All right, easy, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reese, have you practiced today?
Yeah. No. Go sit in the corner and practice for 2 hours. Okay. Oh wow. All right. So what we've done like your favorite sort of interview, which would have been LJ, right?
Yeah, LJ was great. I think I feel like the list is a bit ridiculous. Like one
Yeah,
of my
it can
first
be.
interviews was I interviewed Herman Lee from Dragon Force. That was pretty amazing for me, only because like I used to be so obsessed with them, mostly because of Guitar Hero, I won't lie. Um and I told him that. I genuinely told him that. And then I challenged him to a Guitar Hero competition. So we still have to have that, but he didn't hang up on me.
That's
So that
cool.
was good.
Well, here's the thing that I figured out too, right? But also because I play both sides of the team. I'm on one side and I'm also on the other. Generic questions are shit,
Yeah.
and I fucking hate it, and that's why I try and avoid doing it in this sort of situation as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I broke that rule last night because I interviewed Brixton Alley from Brisbane. They're British band, moved to Melbourne just prior to COVID, and they got stuck in Melbourne, and they
Oh boy.
yeah, and then they made their way to Brisbane. But I did actually have to ask them like about the name, and I fucking hate that question.
Yes.
But I wanted to know if they're actually from Brixton, and they said no. And Johnny, the singer, was like, "I've literally never been to Brixton in my life." And I was like, "Why the name?" Oh, it's from the lyric in a song. Like, oh, okay.
Ah,
Answers that
yeah,
question.
yeah. I like that you say that too, because that's always one of my least favorite. But occasionally it has been useful or relevant. But yeah, more
Yeah.
often than not.
Well, if it's confusing as to what the fuck you called this, I mean, no one can figure out what the hell it's from. Like, if it's just something like a full metal name, then you go, yeah, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
but something like that, and you just go, oh, okay, because they're British and Brixton's a town in there.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're
it's a
from
fair
Brixton.
question.
And they went, no, we're not. I went, okay, cool, because you don't sound like you're actually from Brixton anyway. And they went, no, we're not. So there you go.
Yeah. Do you have any like favorite go-tos if like I don't want to say if it's a bad interview, but if it's not providing to be, quite as exciting as you'd like it to be, do you have any like old faithfuls so I can steal them? No.
Not
that you
really.
Find, like, kind of kickstart.
I steer it back to me to try and relate to them with something.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's. I mean, I can cheat in that way because I am a practicing musician at gigs all the time.
Yeah.
So I usually relate it to a gig-related thing, like fucking loading in or whatever like that. or like stupid green room stories or something like that,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't know how boring the green room can actually be. People think it's all rock and roll
Mm-hmm.
and cocaine and hookers and stuff, and it's actually just dudes and women in the back, whoever's playing on their phones, maybe having a beer and bored out of their brain waiting to play.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
living the dream.
Oh yeah. Occasionally it's fun. Occasionally there's some cool shit, but that's what I usually
I
do.
think I've got more work done in a green room than I probably have
Yeah.
in the office most days. I take my laptop, I've written reviews and
Yep.
it's so rock and roll.
Well, I did that on tour one time with Barefoot. I know that. I think we were in Sydney, and we're just killing time. And I actually was answering preparing a Q&A for Sleep Make Waves. I was preparing an interview with them. Yeah, and it actually turned out to be a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good blokes, those ones.
They are, and they had a great interview too.
Do you know, I actually, not to make it about me, but I actually have a great Sleep Makes Waves story, which they probably have no idea. And like talking about my focus on my website, like back in the really early days, people judge me very significantly for this revelation, but I had the option of the exact same time, exact same day. It was either interview Sleep Makes Waves, who were going on a tour, I think they had a new song out, or interview Wu-Tang Clan, who only had, I think they had a new song out. And that was a weird moment for me where I kind of was like, okay, what is my website actually about? What is actually going to be more beneficial for it? And like, I had people genuinely like mad at me for turning down Wu-Tang Clan, but I was like, I've got nothing to relate it to. They're not coming to Australia. And I went on and interviewed Otto and had like a friggin' amazing interview. So
yep, I actually
I
admire
stand
that.
by it.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
I stand, and yeah, and like you said, like they've so much fun to interview. So like sometimes you got to make those calls, and we're so lucky we have so many amazing artists who like give great interviews and make life really easy for you sometimes, so you're not like pulling teeth with people.
I've only had two sort of really awkward podcasts. I'm not going to say who they are because I genuinely actually know the people and I'm really good friends with. It was during this is a piece of piss. No, it was in the early, like, because we're on podcast. This is podcast number 31. So
you're a machine.
No, not as much as you, but you just say I know.
I'm not a machine. You're a machine.
Humble, woo. No, it was just because I think they weren't used to the medium, and that was all it is. Because if I have a one-on-one conversation with these people, which I can now, because this was during like lockdown for us, a one-on-one with them is easy. I think it was just I think it was just this medium, and there was that you got that barrier, that glass screen right there, and some lag if they're on a shitty connection, that sort of stuff. No, yours is fine. You haven't frozen this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna wait. It's gonna wait for a really opportunistic bit where you're gonna be pulling some weird facial and. Then...
Oh yeah, which I do a lot. Yeah. It's gonna be great. I might frame it for my mum for Christmas.
the one that froze before was pretty epic. I do have to point out to the people that do watch this is that the Soundcheck, you are not primarily, but there is a fair focus on sort of the heavier realm of things. Would I be incorrect in saying that?
You are very correct there, my friend. Excellent research.
Well, that's a good thing though, because we don't really have that much purely focusing on that in this country.
Yeah, and look, that was part of it too. Like I know there are a couple of really awesome ones around that do really dedicate solely to the heavy stuff too. So that's why I don't feel so bad about not being 100% into that scene of things, but that's generally the music I love, and that's the stuff that I'm really excited about. And I don't like to say it from a perspective, but a lot of the time when I was younger, I'd go to gigs or I'd be out with people and I'd say I like heavy music, and back then it would be, name a heavy band, like prove that you like heavy music. And I'm just like, I like Meshuggah, I like Periphery, I like Architects, like shall I go on? And the really awesome thing is that has really significantly changed, and I think that's maybe part of the reason why as well I didn't start this earlier on too, because I genuinely felt like I had either nothing to offer or I didn't quite feel like I had the right voice to, talk about this music. So I got over that. And the heavy community, especially, like, I feel like these people make me feel seen. I feel like I belong with them. They get how weird I am. They like weird time signatures. Like, it's a nice, meeting point of what I'm really into and passionate about, and just finding these amazing people out there that kind of make you make sense a little bit more too. Because I love pop music too, don't get me wrong. Like, I went as Britney Spears to my 15th birthday party, but I think I've definitely like to keep that balanced. And fortunately, there's a lot of awesome heavy music out there that doesn't really get seen as much.
Exactly. So, I mean, this country is actually producing some, I don't know why it's shifted gears, but like you look at shit like fucking what Polaris is doing. Fuck, I can't remember all the stuff that Pricey's putting out there, and I really just can't think of the top of my head right now. But I mean, Pricey's the champion of all this heavy shit. I mean, I've been playing in heavier bands most of my life. It was only sort of like 10 years ago it shifted and I started playing reggae, and then I've come back and started playing like with mules, which is I don't classify mules as heavy. We're alternative. We're not heavy. Yeah. But we still get lumped in the heavy sort of thing. But I've actually enjoyed watching it go through cycles. I mean, I started gigging in the heavy thing when Melodicy was taking off, when Butterfly Effect was taking off, when Cog was taking off, when Mammal was taking off. Even Test Eagles, seeing them play. I don't know if did you ever get to see Test Eagles play?
Never got to see them play.
Were you too little?
I wasn't allowed.
Phenomenal band, man. But and seeing that sort of, it does go in waves, and which is kind of frustrating a little bit. But it's the Australian scene right now. It is booming, and we just wish Aria would fucking sort of acknowledge it properly.
Oh yeah, that category thing is something I'm loath to bring up with bands.
I look forward to it every year just to see how much they fuck. I mean, seriously, the chats in the best heavy thing.
Even my housemates were like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't, and I think that's the thing is, it's not that I want to root for the underdogs and all that too, but that's why I want to give a little bit more of a platform as much as possible. Like, I'm a very modest platform, but the more of that there is, like, hopefully give something to balance the, not inequality, but just give some balance to it. Because one category for every single genre of heavy music, and then you put the chats in it.
It was the same as putting King Giz in there, but King Giz basically, I think they basically have a dartboard and they just go and have all these genres written on it, and they go, what, this year, what we're going to go for the ARIA this year? We're going to go for jazz, folk, and we'll do a heavy album as well, because they release so many freaking albums a year anyway, and they just hedge their bets and see what they get.
Yeah, I think and I guess that the thing is too, for so many people, and you know this better than most because you're a musician yourself, but you kind of got to reach that point, I guess, being in this genre or realm, even though you're the alternative side, you still get lumped in it regardless. And I guess you got to remind yourself, why am I doing this? And it's unfortunately it can't be for the accolades. I mean, it's lovely if they do come, and like, it's great to see bands like, even when DLC got their ARIA norm, like all that stuff, like, it's fantastic to see it, but it's not always going to be there. So what are other ways we can get this amazing music heard? And I feel like it's still underground, absolutely, but slowly.
So what would be your pick for your favorite heavy album of the year though so far? That's a hard one.
Jesus.
Yeah.
See, I really do like my prog. So I was really in love with Haken's latest album, Virus. To the point, while I was reviewing it, I bought it on vinyl, which is the first time that's ever happened to me. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like probably the best one, but it had a big impact on me. Shit. I should have a better answer.
Yeah. Put you on the spot.
I'm trying to think of what I've reviewed. The problem is everything keeps like kind of overlapping as well. I mean, Caligula's Horse put out like spectacular album.
It was very rich. I couldn't get into it. I liked it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I gave it a good hard go, and I loved the band, but I couldn't immerse myself into it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was still a great album. I do appreciate it, but I just didn't click with it.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, that's the thing, is everyone's going to find something different in them, I feel like. I'm trying to think, I had a really surprising one, and it's a great story because I can't remember it.
Yeah, it's an epic story.
See, I haven't done my top 10 for the year yet. That usually happens in December when I'm like, have to sit down because I'm an old lady and can't remember anything. So I have to sit down there and go, okay, what did I actually write about this year? But
just find your top rating blog, basically, whichever article got the most amount of views, and go, yeah, that's the one, I guess.
No, usually they're just like the news ones about, the bloody Swedish metal bands who are killing it and don't need me. So I have to say too, like I do love symphonic metal too. I feel like there's a theme here that the Nightwish album was pretty beautiful, but it's not for everyone. Like, that's not something everyone's going to sit down and listen to. So but I actually, for the first time, did a Zoom meeting with two of my friends who are in Brisbane, and we listened from start to finish to a whole album, which I've never done with other people in my entire life. It was actually a really, really nice thing, and I didn't plan to review it, so I could kind of just sit there and actually enjoy it as well. So maybe that's what heightened the enjoyment. Then I did review it, and then I did interview her, so killed it for myself. But yeah. So what about you? Have you got one that I can steal?
I mean, does Northlane's album count? Did it come out this year? Was it?
I feel like that.
Was it Alien? Did Alien come out this year, or was it last year?
Alien.
Man, I've lost.
Jesus, it feels like it was last year, but maybe it was this year.
Ocean Groves, I actually dug.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. Yes, yep. Now you're triggering all of my. I'm like that. Yeah, that was great.
I mean, I like Polaris, but it's not the kind of stuff I listen to consistently, because I don't delve into the really heavy sort of stuff, and I do lump them in that.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think
I found one.
Yeah.
One that surprised me was Marilyn Manson.
Oh.
Did you?
No, I actually haven't. Like that. Actually, haven't had a chance to it. I was actually referring to Australian albums, but if you're gonna go,
oh my bad. Nope. Carry on.
No, if you're gonna go with album, man, like I actually liked Korn's. I really loved.
Yes.
The return to form, basically. But then I actually really liked Seven Dust's new one, which came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, it was like, and not just because I do love them, like genuinely, I was almost a bit, you never know at that point in your career, like you could just bust out and still do well no matter what with your fans. But yeah.
But I haven't given Marilyn Manson's one a go yet, so I really should do that. But like, I'm still stuck in like Antichrist Superstar and
yeah. No, well, yeah, I won't spoil it for you in case you do listen to it. But yeah, I reviewed that one and I didn't know what to expect. So you have something exciting ahead of you, hopefully, and then you can call me and tell me you hate it.
It's fucking hell, man! Like, seriously, you.
I got blocked.
Yeah, what the?
I got blocked on Instagram.
I think one thing that's missing, and how you just brought up before, you've never done that before and sat down and listened to a whole album with friends. Like, I'm gonna be an old man yelling at clouds here, but I used to do that all the fucking time.
Oh, I love that. I do love that
because there was no other distractions.
There's something to be said for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I don't know how many times when it was either Dookie or Smash came out, and it was just me and my best friend and someone else, and it came out at the time we were staying in a caravan park for holidays. So I would have been 15, I think.
Nice. And
we just listened to it on repeat consistently. And I wasn't really into punk. I actually was more like into sort of grunge sort of stuff. Like I always mocked because I liked Pearl Jam, and I was like,
I still do. I'm not sorry.
I still fucking love them. No, I'm not sorry. I don't apologize for that. But they were all into sort of like the punkier sort of shit. And yeah, I do remember sitting there just going, you know what, this is actually really fucking cool. And sat down and just absorbed those albums. And I don't think I mean, we're lucky because we have this opportunity now where we're actually overloaded because we get stuff thrown to us all the time and we can do that. But I don't think I think the last album I actually sat down there and said, "Don't bother me." I put headphones on and I had a hoodie on. Was Tool's new one. That was the last time I actually did that and sat down and went through it from start to finish, and came out the other end just going, "That was wicked."
Yeah. That's that. If you're gonna do it, that's the one you do it to for sure. Hoodie on.
Yeah.
Do not disturb sign on.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah.
I was sat on the couch next to my wife and she's just going, "What's up?" And I said, "Tool album just got released. Just stay here with me. I'm just gonna put my hoodie on and I'm just gonna absorb this." And she just went, "Okay, see you in an hour."
Yep. Yeah. It is such a different experience, I think, and especially with bands like that too. Like, I mean, I feel like for me with the Tool album, I did listen to it, but not just sitting down from start to finish. But that would be something I would do back in the day with like their earlier stuff. And yeah, I mean, we've got the best of both worlds, but I feel like sometimes I don't enjoy music as much as I should.
Because
actively, if that makes sense.
Because we're constantly bombarded with it or playing with it. There's quite a few times where and during peak COVID, I actually didn't pick my bass up for 2 months.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, did anything spark it back for you? Like, did you have that moment of just like, yeah, I'm back?
Yeah, it was forced because I had to get ready for when gigs were coming back. So I was like, oh shit, I better yeah. But I think it's because I delved into the mixing realm with Nils' album, and so I was busy in that mindset, and I just didn't feel inspired to actually write or play.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, totally.
I mean, how you were saying the same thing with you weren't really feeling motivated with doing Q&As. The reason why I started the podcast is because there was nothing really flowing through because everything came to a halt. So I still wanted this community that we've got here connected. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's try this shit out, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, well, it's worked and it's awesome. It's inspiring because it is nice because I don't know about you guys, it sometimes can feel quite isolating, especially if you're doing a lot of this on your own. So it is nice to have that connection and to be a bit inspired by other people too. That's one thing I've been really, really
how many people
amazing
confuse you for having like a whole like corporation or a bunch of lackeys writing for you and that sort of shit?
Yeah, they're like, if someone, you or someone from your team would like to review this or send someone else, I'm like, it's just me.
It's just me. Like, I get work experience.
I'm in my pajamas. I haven't washed my hair in 3 days, and I'm crying a little bit because I haven't had coffee. But how's it going?
Yeah. I'll get to it. I get to it.
And I think I don't want to start putting automated things of like, please stop emailing me multiple times, but it's reaching a point like I have to remind people it's only me and I can only do so much at one time. And before as we've seen, like I'm clearly a glutton for punishment. But,
yeah, I know that feeling.
And it's on my website, like there's only me there, but yeah, I've apparently got this, and there was a woman on LinkedIn who claimed she worked for me, and I was like,
well, that's actually kind of cool though, because that means you've actually got to that level where people want to be seen working for you.
What, can I just start like handing her some of my reviews so I don't have to?
What? Yeah, just do up a fake fucking resume for her, like a reference, and tell her.
Yeah, I wanted that like five days ago. God.
Do you get like work experience requests and that sort of shit too?
Yeah, I have occasionally. Sometimes I don't think they're legitimate because I'm like, if you knew me, you wouldn't want to work for me.
Mine's like, there's no pay, and no.
Yeah, there's no pay, and I tell dad jokes. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm not quite at that stage yet, and it's not. It might be a control thing, but I'm pretty happy to keep it in the vein of myself for now. And
it's what it is. All right, it took me a little while to figure out because I'm a control freak too. So you're not alone.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah.
I used to have people writing for me, and I have trouble with that because it's not my flavor of writing. All right. And
Yes.
you have a certain style. I know my style is, and I'm a sarcastic prick most of the time. So a lot of the time it can sneak into there. I know my style of writing. I know what it is. So if an article comes out, I mean, I'm pretty lazy these days, and I basically rehash press releases, which I actually love, because if it's a well written press release, I don't have to do anything. It's like, thank you, copy and paste, put it in there. That's lovely. That looks good. Thank you very much. But if it's like a fucking 2-paragraph thing someone sent through, just going, oh. Okay, time to get my brain working and let's write something. But yeah, it's gonna have your flavor to it, and I'm pretty sure you'd be the same way, right?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is, and it's inadvertently, because I didn't realize I had a flavor, but I do, and that's how I want it to be, and yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. I'm gonna steal that.
That's fine. All right, we're about to hit the fucking 50-minute mark, mate. So,
Oh, damn.
oh damn, it's been the longest one I've done in a while. So, if you got one
Sure.
last thing that you want to say to basically musicians, or not publicists because they know what they're doing, but musicians that are basically sending stuff to you as a music journalist and as your own blog and that, what would be the main things that you look for that they know not to do as faux pas? I've already
I
said
think
mine.
where possible. Yeah. No, I think where possible, like time is obviously an issue for a lot of us, but where possible, kind of like if you can target it and look at what this publication or this outlet is doing and you really want to be featured by them, taking that little bit of extra time to kind of get to know what they kind of like or what might be their flavor, so that you're not just sending the same generic email out to every single person. Because if I just see to whom it may concern, I'm not so precious, but instantly I'm like, okay,
Yep.
it's someone new. It's not going to necessarily come through it. So I think do a bit of research, believe in what you're doing, and be really passionate about it. Send the photos, send the assets, send all of that, and don't take a non-reply as a like no forever. Just try again, or if there's nothing after that, next time. Like there's never a point where you can't try the next time you're doing something. So I think, yeah. And don't be rude to the people who say no to you.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, we're on the eve because you're actually going to publish one of my band, or like the bands I'm doing a PR for tomorrow. Yay!
I actually am.
Yay! Because I was actually like nice to you and I actually said, hey T, can you please publish this for me? It's
anytime.
It's a good song, and I like the guys. I've known the guys for a very long
Yeah,
time.
it's fantastic. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
And hopefully they're excited too. They probably don't even know this is going on right now because of clients. They just go, yeah. Oh, we'll share it when it comes to it. Tiana, this has been epic. I reckon we need to do another one of these.
Oh gosh, yes.
Whenever your schedule clears up, because it literally took us like 4 months to organize this.
Yeah. It feels like about 2 days, but yeah. Yes.
But
no, thank you so much. I'm really grateful, and it's awesome to chat to someone else in the same world as me. So thank you for letting me blab and drink beer.
Yay! Yeah, well, I'm all out of wine now. That sucks, but it's all right.
That's an outrage.
Nah, that'll be fine. All good. Weekend starts. Tiana, Speter from The Soundcheck. Hang on the line, mate. I'll have a quick debrief with you after this. Check out the blog. I will link the blog in the description, in the podcasty thingy and that sort of stuff too, and we'll make a big deal and fanfare about it because you're awesome. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you,
Tiana.
ladies.
I hope you dug that one. I had a lot of fun. Big shout out to Tiana from The Soundcheck for being a good sport and putting up with the jabbering, and love the freezes of the good old Zoom doing their thing. If you like this podcast, do check out The Soundcheck because Tiana's writings and all the articles and the reviews she's doing are incredible. Plus she's doing the article for Von Hasler, so the band I'm helping rep at the moment. If you like this podcast and the others in the series and you haven't done it yet, you know the drill. Press the subscribe button and you will be notified when more come live. There is more booked. I'm booked solid for the next few weeks until December, so there'll be more coming. Thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are awesome. Thank you.